Welcome to Gulf War, the battle after the war. Real quick before we get started, I do want to take a moment of silence for these 3 soldiers that we just recently lost, and a dear friend of mine who is a Navy veteran. So if you'd just take a moment, please. Thank you for that. I know their families will appreciate that, as well as they're up there watching us now. So the first thing I want to get out there real quick is the suicide hotline, and that's 800-273-8255. If you find yourself in a position where you need somebody to talk to, call that number. If you don't feel like calling that number, if you're afraid to call that number, get on Facebook, message at Gulf War Vets. I always respond within 24 hours. If for some reason you need something sooner, message on my page. Somebody will respond. There's always somebody awake. I have people that watch my page from all over the world. So jump on there, say, hey, I'd like to talk to somebody, and somebody will pipe up. Private message them, talk for a little bit, feel better, feel good, get some rest, and start your next day. That's most important to me. Remember, if you've been listening to my casts, a while back I said, I always wear a saying on my chest. I put it on the first thing I get up, and it says, the only easy day was yesterday. It's most important to me. So it's always there. That's my reminder. If you can get through today, tomorrow's just another day, right? So getting into the next topic, Gulf War illness symptoms. I've covered all the most popular ones on my podcast. So if you've listened to my podcast, you'll get the gist of what we all came back with. You may be watching this for the first time. I'm going to suggest go listen to my podcast, because you can listen to that while you're driving. The most important thing that I want to get out with the Gulf War illness symptoms is that we all vary in what we have. Some are worse than others, so bear with it. There's diets out there to help us cope. The AIP diet, there's keto diet, there's variations of the keto diet. I do a variation because when I actually started with something called a low FODMAP diet. It was kind of aggressive, so I lost a lot of weight fast, but it showed me what the foods were doing to me that I thought were healthy. Iceberg lettuce, celery, garlic, tomatoes. Tomatoes have quercetin in the skin. It's great for fighting colon cancer. Well, it's creating Barrett's esophagus in my throat. You know, you have to be so careful with the foods that are out there. When you eat them, what you eat, where you eat. I have a podcast, special one coming up for you guys in the next few weeks that's going to discuss foods. So keep an eye out for that. It will be on YouTube. It'll be on my YouTube channel. So you'll be able to see what we're talking about. There'll be a lot of interaction. It's a lot of good information. I'm excited about it. But keep that in mind. If you're going out to dinner, when you're ordering food, remember, portioning is huge. I don't care if you're healthy and you're not a veteran. Portioning is huge. There is not a restaurant out there right now that gives you a proper portion as an adult. You can go to places like these fresh restaurants where they claim that everything is made the same day and there's nothing that's stored in a freezer or any of that stuff. But at the end of the day, the problem is the portioning. So be very careful about that. Most of the time you can get 2 meals out of 1. The other thing is what they're putting in it. If you have any kind of autoimmune illness, you need to be looking at the AIP diet or a keto diet or a version of keto that helps you maintain a status quo, basically. You want to be in a position where you're not taking heartburn medication to get through your day. That's not normal. You don't want to lay down at night and feel like you have to sit up because your chest is hurting or your stomach is hurting. That's not normal. That's not living. So it's important that you pay attention to these things. Start listening to your body. It talks. If you don't listen, you can get sick. Doesn't matter whether you're a veteran or not. Doesn't matter what you were exposed to. Right now, with the way we are going, with what we're doing to our foods, by the time my child hits my age, everybody on this planet will have some form of autoimmune disease. Guaranteed. Doesn't take a doctor to see that. If you look, it's happening already. And it's happening why? It's happening because we're screwing with our foods. We're trying to make more out of less. And we're using chemicals to do it. The chemicals are not good. You see it in the news all the time. The stuff that we spray on our weeds is giving us cancer. I mean, how much more evidence do you need? Cigarettes. Cigarettes have been around since the dawn of time. People have been dying, dropping dead left and right with this all types of cancer that are out there. People are missing their jaw because they'd rather smoke a cigarette. Come on. At what point do you wake up and say, shit, this is not good? Now they're talking about this whole vaping crap. Same thing, you're still smoking. What's the difference whether you put hot smoke in your lungs or hot water? Come on. It's just ridiculous. And now they're making a big stink about that. So all I'm saying is use a little bit of common sense. If you're overweight and you have an autoimmune disease, you know you're the only one that has control over how you're going to feel throughout the day. Yes, we all have fibromyalgia. Yes, it hurts. There are mornings I don't want to get out of bed. I promise you. But there's mornings that I feel great. So use the times that you feel good to get stuff done. Use the times that you feel bad to get out of the damn house. I don't care if you're waddling down the street, get out of the house. Just go do something. Just go for a walk. Go for a stroll. If you're missing limbs, get in your wheelchair and go for a roll. I don't care. There's no excuse not to. If you're not capable of doing it on your own, call somebody. If you're living with a nurse, wake her ass up. Get out. Do something. Don't waste your life inside. Just don't do it. There's nothing worth that. There's nothing on TV that you can't see walking around, I promise you. The 5 o'clock news, that's the same shit you're going to see walking down the street. No different. Let's go to the dollar store or Walmart. I guarantee you, you will see half of what's on the news in one of those two places. That's the God's honest truth. Sorry, Walmart. Sorry, dollar store. But it's true. So keep that in mind when you're out and about, or when you wake up in the morning and you decide, God, I don't feel like getting up. I don't want to do this. I hurt. You know, my biggest roadblock for me is the pain. God, the pain is ridiculous. If I don't laugh about it, I'd cry about it. I don't want to cry about it. I want to get up and do things. I may not be smiling when I'm out and about, but I'm damn sure not laying in bed. I'm not home by myself. I'm not afraid to go out by myself either. Yeah, there's certain things I won't do, and I avoid those. If I'm with somebody, I'll test myself. But when I'm alone, I stay in my comfort zones. I don't push myself out of them. There's no reason why you can't do the same. If one of your comfort zones is just getting out the front door, well, you know what? Get up and go to the front door every day. Throw that door open and look outside. That's all you got to do. That's all I'm saying. Go to the back door where nobody can see you. Throw that door open and look outside. Go sit on your porch. Challenge yourself. That you can do by yourself. There's no harm in that. If you create an anxiety attack, sit there. Wait it out. It's difficult at first, but through time, you'll get past it. That's important. Because you need to have a life. If you sit in four walls all day long, you're going to end up like all these others. You're going to end up like the 22. And the rest of us are going to be sad reading your obituary. It's not cool. I don't like to get to the bottom where it says suicide. Just don't like that. We're veterans, we're fighters. We shouldn't be fighting each other. We should be fighting a common goal, and that's to get better. That's to get out there and make a difference. Because at the end of the day, like I said, this autoimmune crap, it's not going to stop. We're feeding it. And it's only going to get worse. And it is passable to your kids, to your spouse. Until somebody can prove it different, look at your kids. You can see it. And it's not just genetics. It's the way we eat. It's the way we do things. You pass that on. You pass those habits on. So, sure, physically, can I pass something on? Maybe not. But your kids are you. Your kids are a product of you. So yes, it can be passed on. Keep that in mind when you're out with your kids, when you're going through the drive-thru, when you hand them a cell phone and say, shut up and entertain yourself. Pay attention to all these things because it gets passed on. I didn't have a cell phone. I had to go outside and play. I passed on to my kid, go outside and play. He didn't get a cell phone until he was 16 years old. Dad, why can't I have a cell phone? All my friends have cell phones. My kid is thin, he's healthy, he's not overweight. He now has his cell phone, but he uses other things, and that's not his crutch. And that's what I'm telling you. Teach, because anything you have can be passed on. Have a great week, and don't forget to hug a vet.